Welcome to the final video on rotations for geometry in section 9.3. So here's an example that we're going to get to eventually for honors practice. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of review how rotations work and what are some other optional ways of thinking about it. So we already kind of figured out this rotation, for example, 1, 2, and 3 of rotating V. And we discovered that this original point, which is 2, 5, rotated 90 degrees to become -5, 2. Rotated 180 degrees to become -2, -5. And then rotated, let me erase this. And then rotated 270 degrees to become 5, -2. Now I hope you look at these 4 coordinates and realize how the original coordinate 2, 5 changed based on the rotations. So you can see here that 2, 5 changed to -5, 2, -2, -5, and 5, -2. Now that's not by accident that the numbers are so similar. So let's take a look at a chart on why that is, okay? So here we have types of rotation. So in the first example, we rotated 90 degrees clockwise. No, actually we rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So this is positive 90 degrees, okay? So that's going this way. If it's clockwise, that means it's going this way. That's a -90 degrees, okay? So we didn't talk about -90 rotations yet, but it's the same process. I just wanted you guys to know that what this is referring to when it says clockwise. So rotation of 270 clockwise, that's a -270, and this is a positive 270. So the ones we went over in our example, and this is plus or minus 180. It's just you get to the same spot. So if we look at our example for 180 degrees, you'll notice that we just changed the x coordinate and the y coordinate to be negative, and we get the same answer. So look at v going 180 to v prime, we get -2, -5. We made the 2 negative, then a 5 negative, okay? Notice too, if we rotate, well, I'll go over 90, and then you can kind of assume for 270. For 90, we switched the y value to be where the x value is, and the x value to be where the y value is, and then we just changed the y value to be negative. Look here, we changed the 5 to be where the 2 is, we made it negative, and then we switched the 2 to be where the 5 is, and it stayed the same. Okay, so that's one way you can look at this chart and see how that works. I'm not a big fan of using the chart. I like seeing it visually, but I know some of you are probably going to like looking at the chart, memorizing it, and applying the properties in that regard. So here we have some honors practice. This time we're not rotating about the origin, we're rotating about this point x, which is -2, -3. Okay, so that is the point at which we're rotating. And it says we're rotating it -90 degrees. Keep in mind, -90 degrees is the same thing as a positive 270. So if we rotate positive 270, we end up in the same location as if we would go -90 degrees. So either way you can think about it, it's the same thing. Some of you might like looking at -90. I prefer always thinking about it in terms of a positive rotation. So just keep that in mind as you're approaching this problem. Okay. So now which shape are we rotating here? Well, let's start with a vertex. So let's start with H. We're going to rotate H -90 degrees. Oh, pardon me. Sorry about that. So we're going to rotate H -90 degrees. Now, I could rotate this 270, and actually I'm changing my mind from what I said earlier. It's going to be a little bit more simple for us to think of this rotating -90, so going to the right. So how do I do it? I do it in the same way I did before. Well, first I need to find my center of rotation, and I need to build my supports. So I'm going to go up from point X. Okay, I haven't arrived at point H yet, so now I'm going to use a horizontal support to connect to H. Keep in mind I'm going to use the Buddhist symbol for peace as a guide to make sure that I'm rotating things appropriately, but this time I'm rotating this way in the clockwise or negative direction. All right, so there's my point H. Notice how I go 4 units up in green and then 2 units to the left in orange. I'm moving this 90 degrees to the right, 4 units to the left. Was it 4 or was it 5? It was 4. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 units with my green and 2 units with my orange. That's where it ends up. So I can put my H right here. There's my H prime. I could do the same thing with the F. So I could build new supports to F, and I could go left first if I wanted, and then up so I don't cross over with the H. Or I can just rebuild the whole shape based on this H. What do I mean by that? Well, like I said, this shape needs a rigid motion, so it's going to maintain the same shape. So this H is going to be directly vertically down from the shape below, or from the G below. So notice how this is 1, 2, 3 units. Okay, 3 units from H. Well, if it's 3 units from H and I rotate this distance 90 degrees, it's going to be pointing this way now. So if I go over here and do 3 units this way, that's where my G should end up. That's my G prime. All right. And my F is going to be which way? It's going to be this way because I'm rotating it. Oops, nope, not that way. And my F is going to be in the same position, so it's going to be this way. Now, let's say you're not good at visually looking at it and drawing it that way, which some of you aren't, but some of you, I wanted to show that you can just redraw the shape once you rotate 1 point, and then you're good to go. I alluded it to an earlier video, but I want to make sure you guys understood it, okay? All right, now, if you want, go the safe route, draw your support. So I draw my horizontal orange support connecting to my F support there. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. So keep in mind my orange support was 3 units. So I need to make sure my orange support stays 3 units as I rotate this 90 degrees this way. So remember it was like this. Okay, I rotate it 90 degrees, very much like in the same light as this. Rotate it 90 degrees, and now my F is right here. And we saw that we landed on the same point that we did when we redrew the shape. I'm going to do the same process with G here. So I'm going to erase this, erase, erase, erase. Okay, I'm going to go up to G. Well, let me make it solid. I'm going to go up to G. I'm going to go left. All right. So now I have this shape, and well, first we should probably keep in mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 units tall. So I need to make sure when I rotate it to the right, it's got to be 7 units. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this to the right. Oops, I'm having trouble rotating it. Give me a second. I'll get it. Hopefully I'll get it. Really not liking me right now. Hold on a second. I hope you guys get the idea. So what you're supposed to do is you're rotating this to the right 7 units there. I at least got it in the right area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 units up. That was the rotation. So originally it looked like this. I rotated it 90 degrees, counterclockwise, negative 90 degrees, and it's up here. I should redraw the shape. It should look exactly the same, which with my sloppy lines it didn't. Let me redraw that. Still not ideal. Just not my notability day. G prime. So there you have it. There's my new location. That's F prime, G prime, H prime. And that's my new triangle with its new coordinates. Hope you find that helpful. See you next time.